𝓆𝓆𝓆𝓏𝑅. It's about time we speak about the story of Yashua, Mashiakh bin Miriam. And we're going to take it right back into Kemet and start in the original story, which is the story of Aset, or Isis, and Asaru, or Osiris. Yeah, the original messiahs in the Nile Valley, or the Happy Valley, as the people called it, the river Happy. So it was the Happy Valley. But Asaru was the original first messiah, Osiris. And him and Aset, yeah, the great mother goddess, had the messiah, or the Karast, who was Haru, or Har, yeah, known better as Horus. This is the true messiah. And this story originated in the Happy Valley with the Kushite African people. It crossed over into ancient Sumer now, yeah? And so Aset became Ishtar, or Inanna, yeah? And so she was the equivalent of Aset, yeah? And then also you have the equivalent of Asaru, or Asar, Osiris. And his equivalent would be Damuzi, who is the father of Tammuz. Of course, Tammuz being the equivalent to Haru. So Tammuz is the Messiah in the Sumerian story, or the Babylonian story. So this story crosses over from the Happy Valley into Mesopotamia, Sumeria to begin with, and then Akkad, and then Babylon, and then Persia. But this Tammuz is the Messiah in the Sumerian story, in the equivalent. And then that crosses over after Babylonian bondage into Canaan, or where Palestine and Israel is. And the story, Isis, who became Ishtar, now becomes Mary, or Miriam, which means love, yeah? And then her husband, Joseph, the carpenter, or the Freemason, that's what carpenter means, master mason, he becomes Asaru, okay? And then your Haru, who became Tammuz, becomes Yashua. So you see how this whole thing plays out. It's the same story being told in different cultures, yeah? The characters are equivalents to each other. You could actually do this with the whole Bible, but we're focusing on what the Christians call the Jesus story, okay? We know it's Yashua, and Yashua existed from 7 AD till 127 AD. He lived to be 120 years, as was prophesied in the Tanakh, or the Torah, yeah, El's Holy Torah. He would come and live to be 120. He ascended from the top of a pyramid in Heliopolis, Kemet. Now, his cousin was Yahya, or John the Baptist, who was the son of Elizabeth, who was Mary's cousin. So John the Baptist was Jesus' cousin, or Yashua, I should say, Yashua's cousin. And don't get him confused, that John the Baptist, with John of Zebedee, who is Jesus' nephew right here, one of the 4 disciples, yeah, in the 4 Gospels. So you have John the Baptist, and you have John of Zebedee. This John of Zebedee, who ran from Herod when Herod was trying to kill them all because he heard about the prophecy. And then you have the others with John, the other 3 disciples, which is Mafia, yeah, and then you have Mark, and you also have Luke, yeah. He also had other disciples, but we'll deal with these 4 because they're the ones whose name is attached to the 4 Gospels in the Christians' New Testament, which is really a distortion of the Injil, which is the Revelation. Paul and them, who are responsible for Tammuz Christianity, or Roman Christianity, Paul and Simon, Jesus' son, they're the ones that call the Revelation the Gospel, or the spell of the ghost. And you see, they don't tell you about the Gospel of Barnabas, because Barnabas was unto Paul, being related to Yashua also, okay? Mary Magdalene was actually the first disciple that Yashua had, yeah? It's always the women, just like in the story of the real Muhammad Mustafa Al-Amin, yeah? It's always the women that come first. She was his first disciple. She wasn't a whore like the Catholic Church and the churches try and tell you. Her and Yashua end up being married. This is our brother Lazarus here, who was brought back from the dead. In the ritual, it was a ritual, a play. It wasn't even a real life thing. It was the Romans who turned it into a play, the Piso family, Flavius Josephus and them. But here you can see the characters from your Bible, and here's the first son of Yashua and Mary Magdalene, yeah, out of the 4 children they had. And here's the daughter, and you'll see another son and another daughter, and this was hit upon in the Da Vinci Code. But where did they get that Da Vinci Code from? Because the master teacher wrote a series of books, the Christ series, and exposed all this way before Dan Brown brought out the Da Vinci Code. They don't want you to know this stuff here, and that's why they try and fight us so hard. They just don't like how precise we are, because we came as part of the force to awaken the force within you. Here goes John the Baptist's mother. They were from the family of Imran, who you seen flash there. And here go Herod. It was him who was having everyone killed because he knew about the prophecy, and his daughter who ordered the beheading of John the Baptist. May you rest in peace. So here you can see I'm going through and dissecting your Bible for you to show you the realness of it. You're never going to see a video like this on Yashua anywhere online, and that's why Djedefre Memnon is public enemy #1. They having me like Morpheus in this matrix. They after me, but I'm dissecting this for you because the real Yashua was not crucified on no cross. It was Judas who was crucified on the cross in his place. This is just a part 1. I'm about to hit y'all with a part 2. If this gets enough shares and enough comments to say make a part 2, I will make a part 2 for you guys. It's time right now. It's come out. Read Revelation 1 verse 14 for a description of Yashua HaMashiach ben Miriam. Here you can see him at 120 years old, like I told you, 7 AD till 127 AD. Their calendars are wrong. Most of you are following this Serapis, this demon, this Antichrist that they're calling Jesus the Christ. Mafia for life.